Most beginner CrossFitters get this one thing really wrong, and I've been doing CrossFit for 6 years, and honestly my first 3 years I basically didn't realise that I was doing this and how much it was impacting my performance, competitions and like open scores, qualifiers and just my general performance in the gym, and how much it was impacting how I was improving. Because if you get this wrong, it can actually mess up your whole session and you might risk not getting as much progress overall. I'm just about to head to the gym to train, so I will see you there. That was such a fun workout. So this was the workout we did. It was so much fun and it was in a pair, and I just love pairs workout because at least you get rest in between. It was so enjoyable, and obviously I love the ground to overhead. Like, weightlifting is totally my jam, and there was ground to overhead in there, and I chose to snatch it because it's quite a lightweight for me. It was 40 kilos, and movements like sit-ups and ski erg and a couple of other things. No gymnastics, which of course is my weakness, so it was nice to not have that in the workout. So let's get into it. The thing that most people get wrong, and something I got very wrong for the first couple of years of my CrossFit journey, is that I didn't pace correctly. I get really excited. I really love CrossFit, and I would start the workout, see that it's something I was going to enjoy, and go out way too hot. I would completely redline within the first few minutes. That is something that a lot of people do. CrossFit can be a very competitive atmosphere, and we have coaches shouting at us sometimes and pushing us along, and that can happen, but that can have a massive impact on your workout as a whole. So if you go out too hot too fast, then you can burn out and you won't be able to hold that consistent pace for the rest of the workout, and that means you won't get the fitness gains that you would if you were just to stick to a consistent pace. It can also have an impact if you're doing a qualifier or a competition and you get too excited straight away and then burn out within the first minute. You've gone too fast. Say like me, you're like muscle snatching the ground to overhead. You do a set of 10 and then you're exhausted, and then you find it hard to move on to the next movement and you're gasping for air. That is not what we want in a qualifier or in the open or in a workout, because you're not going to be able to consistently put in the effort. You've put all of your effort in at the start and you're on the floor. Learning the right way to do it takes a little bit of time, but you will get there. I'm going to run you through it. Hiya. Come here. Hi. Hello. Does anyone else just like massively crave fruit after going to the gym? I do at the moment. I'm gonna make a smoothie while I'm chatting to you. One of the ways we can stop burning ourselves out in the first couple of minutes is, believe it or not, to go slow, and to go much slower than we think that we need to. This has helped me a lot over the years in like the open and doing qualifiers. So start off by pacing yourself and reminding yourself that you're saving your energy for the last few minutes. So you want to maintain a pace that you feel like you could continue for quite a long time. Say it's a 15-minute AMRAP. You don't want to go out super hot in the first minute and then have nothing left for the rest of the 15 minutes. You want to keep a steady pace for the first like 12, 13 minutes, and then over the last 3 minutes you can really turn it up. Of course, if you start off slow and then you realise you're just finding it way too easy and you feel like you're just not trying hard enough and you're nowhere near that threshold where you feel like you're getting out of breath, then you can start to push the pace a little bit more. But it's really a massive learning process, figuring out where that line is. You can kind of creep towards that point of you feel like your heart's going really fast and you're getting really exhausted, and you can feel like maybe if you pushed it a little bit harder you would completely burn out. So you want to really walk that line carefully, especially when you're doing something like a qualifier. But even in like a regular CrossFit class, you don't want to be racing other people in your class in minute 1 and then dying on the floor. You can build that intensity slower. I've spoken a lot about comparison before in my videos, but that is another reason why comparison can be quite unhelpful sometimes. If we're comparing ourselves to other people in our group, they might be way faster at us at, say, burpees. For me, that's one of them. I'm always very slow at burpees. I'm a bigger person. I'm like 107 kilos at the moment. I'm gonna be slow on burpees because I'm moving my whole body weight up and down like repeatedly. I would rather do a heavy power clean, like a 75 kilo power clean 10 times than do 10 burpees. So we've got to think about our own strengths and weaknesses and pace based off that. Ooh. Not off other people in the room. Pacing ourselves up with other people in the room only gets us better than those people, or only compares maybe our weaknesses to their strengths, or vice versa. That isn't the goal for most of us with CrossFit. We're not all doing it to compete. A lot of us just do it for health and fitness and fun, and I'm not doing it to like be better than the person next to me. I just want to improve my own fitness and health, and the way we do that is by pacing correctly of how we feel, so that our fitness can gradually increase and improve. Because otherwise, if we're way ahead of somebody else and we're pacing off them, then why would you push any harder? But if you're pacing off yourself and you know you can go faster, then you're gonna go harder, so you'll get more fitness gains, as well as not burning out in the first minute and then doing the rest of the workout at like 50% capacity because you've made the wrong decision. And I definitely don't get this right all the time. I'm so guilty of still going out quite quickly in a lot of workouts, and it is purely just because I get really excited and I just want to work out. Oh, I spilled that. But at least I kind of have the knowledge to know that I'm not going to be able to push as hard on the next movement if I do that, and I also feel myself doing that, and I kind of have a quiet word with myself and realise that I need to slow down. This is like linseed, which is flaxseed in America. I find it just really helps like digestion, and it's also really good for like hormone health, which I've learned off Chloe, who does my nutrition. Smoothies have been amazing for me after workouts at the moment. Sometimes I find it quite hard to eat, especially fruit. I hate eating fruit, but I love drinking fruit. And I find smoothies really filling at the moment. I don't know why. I think I put quite a lot of water in them too. Let's see if it will whiz up. They kind of go like ice creamy, like a thick McDonald's shake kind of texture. I think that's worked. It's so good. So if you want the protein that's in this, it is Food Spring strawberry flavour, and I've got a code and I'll put my link in the description for that as well. Realising that I'm allowed to drink calories has been one of the biggest things in my ED recovery. From dieting over a lot of years, I felt like I could never drink calories ever again. And I've realised they just make me feel so good just drinking smoothies, especially after a workout. And it gets all of the nutrients in that I need really quickly, and they just honestly make me so happy. So one of the other things that really helps me with pacing, especially if you're like in a team workout, a team competition, or a partner workout like today, is setting out the rep scheme that you're going to do before you do it. So some people will just say, oh, I'll just do however many I can. And while that might work for some people, that often leads to us just burning out that movement. So say you're going to just do as many as you can on pull-ups, and you do a max set of pull-ups, the sets after that are going to be much harder. You're not going to be able to do as many, and you're going to find it much more difficult. So your max set of pull-ups is 10, and you say I'm going to do 5 every round, then you're more likely to be able to consistently do 5, and you'll get more fitness gains from doing that, because say it's an AMRAP, you'll end up doing more volume because you've not burnt out your pull-ups in the first minute trying to do as many as humanly possible in one go. When you're in a pairs workout like today, we had 45 sit-ups. So the best way for us to think about splitting down 45 sit-ups was to do a 15 each and then a 10 each. In the ski erg section, we did 2 sets of 200 meters because there was 800 meters total, and we planned all of these ahead of time before we got to the movement. In the ground to overhead, we decided to do sets of 5. It was 30 reps in total, and I could have probably done 10, but also I probably would have burnt out and become quite exhausted, and that wouldn't have helped the kind of team as a whole, because if my partner can't also do 10, then I would have to jump straight back in and I would be too tired to be able to do that. So it made more sense for us to try and do 5 each. I know it's easy to get pulled into that competitive atmosphere and feel like you need to do the best that you can possibly do, and you need to do as many as you can do, as many reps as soon as possible, because you need to prove yourself in some way, or because you're competing against somebody else in the room and you know that they can do 10 ground to overhead, so you want to do 10 ground to overhead. If we look at the bigger picture, for the majority of us, it's not about that. It's about getting fitter, feeling healthier, and just enjoying ourselves, and pacing is much better better for feeling fitter and healthier, and it's also better for being competitive. You will get more fitness gains if you don't burn yourself out. And that took me a long time to learn, but once I learned it, I got a lot better at CrossFit a lot quicker, especially when you're doing repeated intervals and you're trying to stick to the same pace. So when you're on a ski erg or a rowing machine or a bike, you can look at the pace on the bike, either the calories per hour or the time. You get like a split time for each 500 meters, aiming for something that you know is good and consistent for you and something you can hold for a long time. And then you will gradually see that improve, and you'll start to find that pace that you used to do a lot easier. And that is better for you to compare yourself to than comparing yourself to somebody else in a workout and you don't know what their pace is on the bike. And even if you can see it, you might be comparing yourself to their strength or their weakness, and that's not effective for improving you and yourself. Another reason we can't pace ourselves off other people in the gym is because we have totally different lives to each other. Like, someone might be 23 with a part-time job and able to hit the gym like 6 times a week, and somebody else might have a family and a very full-on work life in a very stressful environment and maybe can only make it to the gym 2 or 3 times a week. We don't know how tired that person is today, which also means we can't consistently measure ourselves off other people because we don't know how they're feeling. It's not a good metric to measure off. So we need to refrain from trying to race others and then burning out and ourselves suffering because of that. Balancing life and CrossFit can be super difficult for so many people. I have had a full-time job for the last 3 years in teaching, and it has been so hard and so difficult for me to fit training around it. It's been one of the most stressful jobs of my entire life, but also one of the most fulfilling. But it has been super difficult for me to fit CrossFit training around it. If you want to know more about how I balance my training around my work life whilst being a full-time teacher, watch this video next. Please fist bump that like button if you found this video helpful in any way. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.